It felt like a lot of work for something that was really bad.
Our characters are starting to show their character, and it surprised us a little bit in how they did it.
Now, we each wrote one scene since the last time we met, since the last video we recorded, and it's the last two scenes that we hadn't written yet from chapter 2. So my scene that I wrote was about an interaction between Arnold and Vanessa, our two main characters, and yours was?
Mine was about Vanessa's experience seeing the aftermath of something that she had left undone in an interaction with her foster parents.
So we each noticed some interesting things in the other person's writing when we were reading them today for the first time. And I noticed some of Vanessa's character coming out in how she interprets things that she sees. It showed a little bit of her kind of intentional aloofness in certain areas, as well as some of the ways that she kind of interpreted things in a negative way when they weren't really that way. And then how the way that she acted didn't really line up with exactly what she was thinking, because she's trying to fit in and fit into the mold, I guess, that she believes other people are making for her.
And even while I wrote that part of her character in the scene, when I read Nathan's scene, my first reaction was, but that's not how she acts. And then I realized that this is the first scene that actually shows her in that public setting. And part of her character is what he just described, to conform to what she believes other people expect when she's in public, which is very different from what's happening in private. So seeing that disconnect at first felt off to me. And then I realized, no, but that's exactly what her character is.
Because a lot of what you've written with her, it is just her in a room.
It's introspection.
Yes, a lot of introspection, and maybe she's texting with somebody. And you see a little bit of that conversation. But conversation in a crowded hallway in a school, was very different. And so there was a lot more that went into what is she thinking? What does she want this person to think about her? What does she want that person to think about her? And how does that affect the way that she's acting and what she's saying?
Especially when those two are exact opposites.
Yes, yes.
The other thing that was interesting to me is just how similar our experience was in actually doing the writing. This was effort, and it felt like a chore to me. Just to allocate the time, I said I was going to do this. Let me get this done. And the scene that I wrote ended up being less than 300 words. And I felt like I put a lot of time into it. This should be longer. There should be more heft to this scene. And then I looked back at it, but it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish. It got the character from here to there. It revealed these things about these different people. That's what the scene was supposed to do. That really is as far as it needs to go. It doesn't need a lot more words.
Yeah, very similar to him. It was difficult for me to do the writing. I kept putting it off. I had 2 weeks to do it. I wrote it yesterday afternoon. It like you said, it felt like a chore. It was really difficult. It felt like a lot of work for something that was really bad, or at least it felt really bad when I was getting through it. Like, I was thinking, there's so much more that I want this scene to be, and I just can't figure out how to get it there.
But you got some snippets in there enough that I could see, I like the direction this is heading. We just need a little bit more setup for that really to pay off. I think there was some really good stuff in there.
So our next goal is to go back and do a second draft. Especially for me, there's I want to add a better ending to the scene. It just kind of stops, and I have an idea of how I want it to end. I have some setup at the beginning that I want a little more, and then probably some touch up in between. I don't know if you have any specific thoughts on what your second draft is going to look like.
I really don't. It's just like, okay, I finished. So I'm not sure where I would go with a second draft right now, which is concerning to me, that I don't know where my flaws are to concentrate on.
Well, we have 2 weeks. You can let it sit for a week and come back with
Yeah.
a fresher mind.
Maybe so. That sounds good. So our question for you this week is, what have you found difficult to return to after taking a long break like we took from writing? Let us know that in the comments, and we will see you in a couple weeks.